All right, everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a blue Saturday. Every Saturday, every Saturday is our youth day. So I'm going to be giving an update to you guys on everything that we've done in the last 30 days. So sit back, relax, get comfortable. We have 2 hours to go over a lot of information. I'm going to come right back and I'm going to get us started. We believe in starting on time, ending on time is 3 to 5 o'clock. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, we are live streaming right now on YouTube. So please feel free to go to YouTube, invite people to YouTube. They can watch it. It will be on our uh, Facebook, our website as well. That's why we record there. So that way we'll have a record. And we're going to get started. We always kick off with roll call. So that way we'll kind of know, um, where we are, who we should be expecting to jump on. For those people who are watching for the first time, the National Summit, last names L, M, N, and O. What this essentially is, and it look like I got a delay here. What it is essentially is, it's me as the global chairperson. It's my update to the world about what's been happening since the last summit. So it's primarily me, and it should be the other global leaders talking about what has transpired since February 26th. That was the last summit, last names F through K. And so that's essentially what this is. We do it now using this technology, which has helped us tremendously. And what you should take away from this, hopefully, is, of course, what's been happening the last 30 days. You should also take away whatever the speakers that's coming on here, whatever they have to say, their input, you should be able to take that away as well. So the agenda, again, is we kick off with roll call. So I'm about to go through the zip codes and tell you who we are expecting. When we get done with that, then we're going to rotate over and get into the full agenda. It is 2 hours, so if you have to walk away, we will take breaks periodically, so you don't have to sit and listen to me for 2 hours straight. You will have breaks, 2 5-minute breaks to get away and kind of catch your breath. All right, so let me get off with the zip codes first. National Block Club University is headquartered in Chicago, 20 black zip codes. So zip code 60612. And before I get into our 20 zip codes, let me tell you the last names again is L, M, N, and O. So unless our personnel last names begin with those alphabets, we are not expecting them to get on today's National Summit and give us their perspective on how things are going. So unless their last names is L, M, N, and O. So 60612 zip code is linked to Boston and Ghana. That's led by Byron Dickens in Chicago. not expecting him to get on. Last name is D. 60623 is led by Eric Strickland, last name S, not expecting him to be on. 23 is linked to Los Angeles, is linked to Senegal in Africa. 60624 is Sierra Leone and is linked to Atlanta, Georgia. Our leader for that zip code is Sandra Brinson, last name B, not expecting to be on. We have 60639, which is our new governor, Kente Kaiser, last name K, Kaiser. They're linked to Nigeria in Africa, and they're linked to Memphis, Tennessee. Not expecting Kente to be on. 60644 is Jennifer Price, last name P. Next month is last names P, Q, and R, so we are expecting her next month. That's zip code 44 is linked to Cote d'Ivoire in Africa or Ivory Coast, and is linked to St. Louis, Missouri here in the U.S. Then we go to 60651. That zip code is linked to Western Sahara in Africa. It's linked to Birmingham, Alabama. And the leader for that zip code is our sister Edie Jacobs. Edie Jacobs, last name J, not expecting to be on right now. We move on to the South Side. And those who may be watching from around the country, Chicago is second only to New York, well, to LA and New York. So this is a lot of zip codes, and 20 of them are where we are the strongest at. So now we're moving from the West Side, 6 zip codes covering the West Side, to now 6 zip codes on the South Side. 60609 is the New City community led by Ken Atwood. That zip code is linked to Detroit and Ethiopia in Africa. Atwood, not expecting to be on today. We have 60620. Francis Newman is our leader. I am hoping Francis can get on. We have been in talk this month, so I'm hoping she can jump on. 60620 is Auburn Gresham. It's linked to Egypt in Africa. It's linked to Norfolk, Virginia. And to my people in Norfolk, I know it's been rough with the violence there. We're going to definitely be talking about that. 60621 is linked to is Chicago's Inglewood zip code, and it's linked to New York City, and it's linked to Sudan, all of Sudan, not this North and South Sudan, all of Sudan. And that's led by Chastity Freeman, last name F, not expecting to be on today. 60629 zip code is the Marquette Park, Gage Park, Chicago Lawn neighborhood in Chicago, South Side. It's linked to Djibouti in Africa, and it's linked to Washington, D.C., and it's led by Deborah Pryor, last name P. We're expecting Deborah to be on next month. And then 60636 is West Inglewood, led by Denise King, last name K. We're not expecting Denise to be on today. Linked to Somalia in Africa, and is linked to San Diego, California. Then we have 60652, led by Brittany Corner, last name C. So we're not expecting Brittany to be on. That zip code is linked to Kenya in Africa, and is linked to St. Paul, Minnesota. So that covers 12 zip codes out of 20, 8 more to go. This is our roll call. After that is 60615 zip code. That's led by Governor Joe Murrows, last name M. Joe has to work today, so he won't be on today. That zip code is linked to Congo in Africa. That zip code is linked to New Orleans. 60617. Today is the birthday of our leader, Chrissy Williams, and that zip code 60617. Williams, he's not expected to be on until June. That zip code is linked to Tanzania in Africa, and is linked to Kansas City, Missouri. Then we have 60619, led by Governor Erica Dunn. That zip code is linked to Angola in Africa, and is linked to Chatham, and then Philadelphia in the United States of America. Then we have 60628, led by Governor Charles Robinson, last name Robinson. He is expected to be on next month. And during PQ and our last names, which is April and October. That zip code is linked to South Africa. It's linked to Dallas, Texas. Then we have 60637, which is led by our superstar Claudette Reddick, last name R. So we're expecting Claudette, as you can see, it's probably a lot of people next month we're gonna have on. And then we also have and that zip code being linked to Zimbabwe, and also is being linked to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay. Then we have 60643 led by Diana Barnes. That's the Washington Heights neighborhood in Chicago. That zip code is also linked to Botswana in Africa and is linked to Cleveland, Ohio. We have 60649 zip code led by Rachel Lindsay, last name L. Rachel should be on today along with Francis Newman. Those are our last names. And then that's the South Shore neighborhood. That zip code is linked to Miami, Florida. That zip code is on duty today. Miami is on duty today, and it's also linked to Zambia in the continent of Africa. Last one is 60653. That's the Bronzeville neighborhood. That zip code is linked to Gary, Indiana, and it's linked to Namibia in Africa. Namibia in Africa and Gary, Indiana. That leader is our superstar Echo. And so we hopefully will have Echo on. Her last name is within the L, M, N, and O. So if she gets on, that'd be amazing. And if not, we're going to give you guys the update either way. All right. So thanks for watching. The next item on the agenda is at the roll call is the good news report. So what I would say, and one of the things that I do need to mic check, because I'm not sure you guys can hear me. So give me 1 second here. Let me go to YouTube and make sure that you guys can hear me, because if I'm doing all this talking and you guys can't hear me, I'm going to be a little disappointed. So give me 1 second here while I pull this up, and then we're going to get right into it. All right. Got some good stuff to share with you on Mississippi. That's going to be after my good news report. I'm going to be talking about Mississippi as well. I'm looking forward to that conversation. All right. Computer taking a little while. I don't want anything to crash, so we're just going to keep it moving. So the good news for the month of March is March 1st has been the year that I personally walked away from my full-time job to do this work full-time. And I gave myself 5 years. My wife approved me 5 years to see if we could make this concept be self-sustaining financially. So that was 6 years ago. Last year I had an extension because of COVID. And so we didn't make it sustaining. The good news is in those 6 years, 72 months, we made our global structure so much more stronger. The last piece was the financial, which in that 6 years, we couldn't get it all the way, but we did get 6 different companies started. That's a big deal. We did get $30,000 worth of Black people primarily trusting, pooling money together and getting it back. That's a huge deal. And so now this last piece is the fact that we have stabilization now because of my household. Me going back to work is going to anchor me, and in anchoring me, I'm going to be able to strengthen every single lever inside of our structure, from the money we send to Africa, the money we send to our partners in our 20 sister cities, the money we're spending on engaging all of those partners in the 20 cities, the awards that we give out to K through 12th grade, and then the biggest thing that is how we're going to use our Black businesses to strengthen them with the Name Your For. And so those things are great news for what we do. And while I'm tempering our expectations for this year in terms of if this will be the year that everything comes together, but if not this year, definitely 2023, because with me strengthening everything that we have, it's a matter if we can convince you guys to pull together 1,000 people pulling together $1. That's what this whole thing is hinged on. If we can get that to happen with being in a regular rotation, we'll get there this year. If not, definitely by May 28th, 2023. So that's the good news. If you guys, you can chime in, you can inbox me and I'll share any other good news that I may have left out. So it's open in terms of you sharing any good news that you have. All right, so now we're going to roll over to the rural town. The rural town reports. What is the rural town reports? What we did in our beginning of creating this whole structure, we started out with Chicago. We linked it to sisters U.S. cities. Then we linked it to primarily white suburbs, so we can have that unity piece come in. And then we linked it to small rural America. And you know, the United States have urban America, suburban America, and rural America. And so we have all three levels of this country, and we think that makes us stronger. Mississippi is the blackest state in the union. You're going to hear me go through some key stuff with Mississippi when we come back from our first break. But Mississippi is our primary. Bucksport, South Carolina is important as well. And we also have North Carolina. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi are some of the blackest states in the United States of America. So the good news on Mississippi, we created, and I can show you guys what this looks like here. We created the picture of a small town for all 108 Mississippi towns. Let me say that again. In March, this month, we were able to create a visual for the great people of Mississippi so that they can know what the heck we're doing and why we're trying to do it. So this is what we had in the past. This is what we had in the past. This here was a map that we created for the state of Mississippi, and we put the little small towns in there that every day we're concentrating on. So that's what this looks like here. That's what it looks like here. This was created in 2019, so that's old. This is what's new. Take a peek there. This here is the map. I mean, this is the visual, almost like what architects do, of 108 towns in Mississippi. 108 towns. Each town is highlighting the total population. It's highlighting what role we gave these 108 towns to perform. And this here is a game changer, because before, as we spoke with people in Mississippi, a lot of skepticism was present. And I understand people sold you a bill of goods that didn't mesh up. But now with this picture, we're able to show them exactly what our vision is. So I'm gonna break this down. You can see it if you're on here. One building, it's 5 buildings here. One building is for information acquisition. We had to acquire information. That's who we are. We acquire information, your name, address, phone number, your 3rd grader, your 5th grader, your husband, the wife is whatever the profession is. Acquiring information is 90% of what we do. So we need a building in all 108 towns to acquire information. Once we acquire information, then we got to process it. I'm sitting here with all this information here of who been shot, killed, stabbed, and raped, and someone has to type this up. So that's processed. We're going to be able to create jobs everywhere with information acquisition and information processing. Once it's typed up, then we got to put that information in storage. So when we need it, we can retrieve it and pull it up. And then we got to manage it, because the minute we get some information, it can become obsolete. We call someone, they 70-year-old husband who's a bricklayer, he can pass away next month. So then we had to go back into that storage of that information, update it, move him over to ancestor bricklayer versus retired bricklayer. My point is, these 5 buildings is dealing with information acquisition, information processing, information storage, information management, and then information sharing. We gonna have this in 108 towns in Mississippi. So this is what I'm mostly excited about. This is the good news. So what we're gonna do now, take our first break. When we come back from this first break, we're gonna jump into our safety and young people section of the agenda. We're gonna come and start that off in 3 minutes. Should be 5 minutes, but we'll come back in 3 minutes. Thank you. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, everyone. So when the other screen comes back up, I'll be able to share some other information. Right now, it is not up. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to keep rolling right on. Okay, so um, we were going to get into dealing with safety. Again, I always have to speak as if people are new to this conversation. Our whole premise, National Block Club University, is about safer neighborhoods, block by block, making sure that we create safer neighborhoods. That's why this whole movement was started in 1994. So what I want to read to you, unfortunately, is what's happening right now, and then I want to talk about what impact we're having, what we're doing to turn this thing around. So we keep track of the people who've been shot, killed, stabbed, and raped. It is very, very sad. 33-year-old man standing on the street shot to death on 66 in Paulina at 3:50 in the morning, 3:50 in the afternoon. 2 people shot, 1 killed on Cottage Grove and 83rd. 7 people shot at a restaurant, 79th and Exchange. And that one area had 7 people shot, maybe even 10 people shot, not even 3 years ago. And so they have mass shootings on that corner, 79th and Exchange. Birmingham, 26-year-old woman shot to death in her car. That's the 900 block of 46th Place. Memphis man shot to death downtown on 4th and Jefferson. 16-year-old in Milwaukee shot to death 4900 block of North 52nd Street. We had 72-year-old man shot to death in a pickup truck. That was in Philadelphia. Security guard shot to death in the Dutchtown neighborhood, also in Philadelphia. Norfolk had 14 murders already. So as you can see, the list is shameful, and it just keeps on going. Again, we acquire this information. Once we acquire this information, next thing is to do is to type up this information. This is what it looks like when it's typed up. This is what it looks like when we're just gathering that information. And this is precisely, sorry about that. It's precisely why I'm saying when you guys start putting the money up, the 1,000 people doing $1, when you guys start doing that, we're going to be able to hire people to acquire information, process information, store information, manage it, and then share it. This is what it looks like. 64 people, 68 people shot, 24 people dead. 64 people shot, 24 dead in 7 days in Black America. We have a problem. It's nothing new. What's unfortunate is that our people who should be representing us are caring about other people outside of our community more than our struggle and what we're going through. Us taking the back seat has been happening since our existence here. So I can't say that I'm shocked or surprised. From National Block Club Union perspective, stopping this violence deals with lifestyle. Is how we live. It's about our habits, our schedule, and our network. Because of who we are, we have a fabulous infrastructure, but it's going to require people to really pay and set aside some time to learn how to use our infrastructure, which uses time and geography to just change the way that you can walk around feeling more empowered. And I can't say that enough. When we talk about all this shooting and killing, it really boils down to something as small as this right here. This right here. This here is the algorithms. This is the codes that will allow any person to walk up to any person, ask some key points about what it is that they're doing or want to do, and you can link them to layers of support. This is so deep. It's 108 different topics in here, and that you're going to be able to tell them when that group of personnel meet. So you walk up and some young guys, one wants to be a lawyer, you'll be able to give him the third Saturday who to call so that doctor can help him. You want someone that want to be an entertainer, we'll be able to look on here, find out the day the entertainers meet, and link them to an entertainer. Again, we're dealing with lifestyle as to why so many of our young people out here feeling hopeless, pulling triggers, and just not walking in they true self as powerful people as they are. So anyway, that little 108 is key because it all deals with our lifestyle. It all boils down to us being as strong as we can be. All right. So anyway, let's move on here. We also have our young people. So the youth is kind of, it's a perfect segue. We have something that allows us to find out what the young people aspire to do and then link them to that professional to do it. So for the month of April and May, which is next month, and then the month after that, I'm going to be continuing to find the Black businesses in all 20 of our cities, mail out to them, engage them, and try to win them over to financing the young people traveling from their city to Chicago to Gary, Indiana, and vice versa. So as a layperson watching this video for the first time, you say, what are they doing? What is this guy site talking about? We're talking about a new way of life that involves information jobs, it involves travel, and it involves real estate. Because wherever we travel to, where we lay our head matters. And this is where real estate comes in at, but that's a side conversation because that's dealing with for-profit. Everything else is dealing with what we do in the non-for-profit world. So when you hear about the shooting and killings, there's a picture in New Orleans of some teenagers beating a white lady, Black teenagers beating a white lady to take her car. Now, of course, they must go to jail for taking that woman's life. But the problem we've had in the past is it'll be another 4 or 5 teenagers that haven't done it yet, that see it and go out there and do it. So we're targeting the people who are not on the run. And those people we want to heavily invest in to make sure that we prevent them from becoming the future carjackers and shooters. And when you think about any of those 4 young people, think about them being under 21 years old, not seeing a lot, underexposed, probably been through a lot, not to make excuses for them, but their head is a little empty. So you had this empty-headed person, and then they're listening to music, lyrics, and a society that pushes be as gangster as you could be as curt as you could be. Don't be nice, don't be loving, don't be showing your emotions. Be the opposite of that. So that empty head, along with all those things being pushed, is combustible, and we see the results of it. Think about what I shared with you, what we're talking about. 108 towns in Mississippi, rural America. Mississippi is rural. We talk about suburban America. We talking about urban America, and them traveling to each other's world. Them having a reason for that retired car bricklayer to connect with that 17-year-old that want to be a bricklayer. So that's the interlinkings. And so that's why that's a big deal for us to know that when we talk about our young people, we really have to make sure that this infrastructure exists, meaning we got our 1,000 people doing $1, and we got that in every zip code, we got that in every city. So it looks like the screen is back, so that'll be good. But if not, we're gonna keep on going anyway. We're going to keep right on going. Uh-oh, how did I get kicked out? Someone might have called. I apologize. Someone may have called me because I got booted out of the whole system here, and that's it's not cool. Okay, so we gonna keep this ball rolling. We still live on YouTube, so that's a good thing. And so anyway, as I was stating, you guys, we talking about the young people. So what we're doing right now is we have a schedule between April and Memorial Day weekend to make certain that we get 50 Black businesses together. You're going to hear about that more at 3:40. You're going to hear more about what we're doing on the economic side. But in so many words, we're going to get the Black businesses to help put up the money to make sure that the young people in Memphis are traveling, to make sure the young people in Chicago is traveling, in Philadelphia. I get it. In every one of these cities, There are people out there working with the young people, doing what they can to make an impact and make a difference. I would just say it this way. It's so important that they get away from their local environment, that they are challenged to be in new territory where they can be as tough, anchored, and comfortable, get them out their comfort zone. And then we got to make sure that they're meeting new people along the way. This is the lifestyle change we talked about: habits, schedule, network. Their schedule has to be filled up with hitting 3 different cities this summer. So that's kind of where we're going with that. I don't want to switch gears now. We should have been taking a break, but we're a little bit behind. So I want to go right into from youth to missing persons. For those of you who don't know, every second Wednesday is our Detectives Day. Every second Wednesday. So we literally have detectives and private investigators that we're coordinating with, talking to, and making sure that we find out what's the latest that they're working on and how we can synchronize what they're doing to what we do. All right. Apologize. Okay. So, and to kill this audio lead. Voila. All right, we're back good again. Okay, so let's get my video going again here so you guys can see me. Okay, good. So anyway, the detectives is where I left off at. And so the key with missing persons is this. If your loved one, pray that it doesn't happen, don't return home. I mean, just imagine your blood pressure and just how immediately your heart goes to racing, because the number one thing is their safety. We want to create an atmosphere within our 20 zip codes, our 20 cities, and even 20 countries in Africa where you know that you're not alone. That we feel is going to help people not panic as much, is to know that you're not alone. We have a process that we have to make sure that you feel like you're not by yourself in this. So of course, I'm not going to go through everything, but in so many words, please know this. Because every second Wednesday is Detectives Day, Missing Persons Day, every 30 days, someone is checking in and talking about missing persons. That's one thing. We also have in every one of our zip codes what we call villages. A village is 16 blocks, 12 to 20 blocks, 16 primarily. So if your young person or older person comes up missing, we have this structure to just search inside each village. Now, the problem and where we're lacking at is we got to get the 1,000 people sending in $1 so that way we'll have staff to really lead and coordinate and facilitate. Right now, we have great people who will do their part, but when you don't have staff, it's different, because now you're hinging and hoping for volunteers, and that's not as guaranteed, waiting on volunteers. So we're gonna make sure where we do have the structure, the infrastructure, we have people. So if your loved one comes up missing, of course, get the authorities, but also loop us in as well. We can share it. We can get teams together. We call it Team 3, our safety team out there to help with searching. And then also any abandoned buildings, we got our landlord team, so we can kind of see which homes that unfortunately your loved one could be in. So we have a plan. It got to get better. It's going to get better as we put the money behind it to be better. All right, so then now we will take our break, and when we come back at 3:43, we give ourselves 5 minutes here. When we come back, we're going to switch over and talk about economic development and construction. When we come back, economic development and construction. Thank you. Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. All right, everyone, your host, Cy Smith, is back. I am back. And so we're going to be switching gears here to talk about economics. And so I put up the slide to lead into it. But before I get into that, I want to kind of, I felt like I need to do a little bit more justice to the missing persons because it's such a serious topic. So I wanted to just give you guys a tad bit. No, I'm just coming off a break here. Give me 1 second here. And so what I want to do is just talk about that just a little bit more about missing persons. I want to do it a little bit more justice. Because this is our last names, L, M, N, and O, I want to talk about really who should be helping you no matter where you are in this country if your loved one becomes missing this month. Or if this month you want to organize a team to go search for your missing loved one. So this month, anyone last name that begins with the letter O, Odoms, Overton, Oladapupo, we're asking you to be the ones to do street patrols and to walk and search, put out flyers. So out of the last names L, M, N, and O, the O's are the ones that should be helping this month. And they won't have to worry about being asked to help no more until September. It's only March and September. That's it each year, March and September. But I just wanted the people who may have a loved one missing knowing we have a plan, and it's just a matter of getting people to support this alignment that we have. And I just read the other ones so you guys to know how the last names L through O. Anyone last name Lane, Lewis, and Luster, we're asking you to help us build stronger race relations. So that's getting blacks and whites to interact with each other. Anyone last name Macon and Marshall, we're asking you to go shopping in black businesses on tour. Now we get it, people go shopping all the time. We're on tour in all 20 cities. And so wherever we're on tour at, that's what we're asking Macons and Marshalls to go to that place out of your normal rotation. So, but we're only asking you to do it every 6 months, March, and then again in September. All Meeks and Merles, we're asking you to help pay for someone's home repairs this month. That could be something as small as a doorbell being repaired. It could be something as a faucet, leaky faucet, but that's part of our construction team. And we aligned that to our Meeks and Merles to help with that. And let me tell you why that matters. If you guys agree to do that, now you're going to be providing training opportunities to young people to learn these different trades because you're paying for that work to get done. And then someone is feeling special because out of the blue, here comes us loving on us. So Meeks and Merles help pay for those repairs this month. Won't ask you again to September. Montgomery's, Morris's, and Murphy's, we're asking you to pay for someone's food, buy someone a lunch, dinner, breakfast, but we want that money to be spent with Black-owned chefs and restaurants. So the Montgomery's, Morris's, and Murphy's pay for somebody's food this month. Won't ask you again to September. The Nances, N-A last names, we're asking you to do report cards this month. Won't ask you again to September. The report cards is on our non-Black owned businesses in our community making money. That report card is on non-for-profits that we know is led by outsiders who don't really care about us. We want to do those evaluations, and of course on politicians. So the Nances, or last names N-A, we're asking you to do those report cards. That's part of our team number 2, accountability team. Neals and Newmans, we're asking you, part of our legal team, to go to court with someone, to sit in a mock trial for the young people, to help them have parent participation, adult participation. Then we have our old last names, in addition to the Odoms, the Overtons, and Odala Pupos, we're asking you guys to pay for our K through 12th grade awards. So the O's got kind of multiple duties here. You got the awards, and you got also, which is team 4, education, but you also got team 3, safety patrols. So those are all the last names this month, L through O. I just wanted to be real intentional without missing persons. Didn't want to gloss over that. All right, so hopefully I didn't confuse the heck out of you, but every month it's different last names. It's every 6 months to you. And when we get our people in that type of alignment, we won't be burnt out no matter what, because every month is always someone to support you, but it's not burning you out because you're only asked to serve every 6 months. So going right into our economic development. So we're a $2 trillion people, Black people. Every Wednesday is economic day. So our focus is every Wednesday, 52 Wednesdays a year, to spend money with people who are who look like you. Chinatown, Greek town, Little Italy, their dollar rotates 8 to 9 days before it leaves. They can name 20 people in their culture that they spent money with. We're asking you to name 4. Name 4. Our superstar Hydras Clark, she manages to name your 4. You probably heard from Hydras, asking you to name your 4 Black businesses that you spent money with. So I just wanted to emphasize how important that is. And so we also have, and this is a new development for you, it's called CATS. CATS, C-A-T-S, C-A-T-S. And our logo for that is a cat, of like a Black Panther. And so what CATS stands for is, CATS is an economic tool. It's our conventions that's out of Gary, Indiana, giving all our jurisdictions around the nation to have a reason to travel to Gary, Indiana. And this is 52 weeks of conventions. Everything from nursing convention, teachers convention, fishing convention, bricklayers convention, men convention, women convention, every weekend conventions out of Gary. Gary is one of the Blackest cities in America. So to bring the conventions to Gary is to bring economic development, to get our Black businesses in Atlanta, in Detroit, to help finance young people traveling, grown-ups too, traveling to whatever convention of their choice any weekend out the year is going to boost a Black city economically. It's going to help those young people and adults traveling. It's going to help our business people, whoever convention it is. So it's a win-win to have this, and we want to make sure that you guys know that's part of our way of having economic development, is by having the C in CATS, which is conventions. Then you have the A. The A in CATS is appreciation. Every single month, we focus on a different appreciation. Why? Because what we're dealing with in our community is hurt, abuse, and bitterness. With that, love is the answer, but love exhibited has to do with showing appreciation to people. And so that's what the A is, every single month, appreciating someone. So in January, we appreciate our religious leaders. Whatever your religious leader, we show that extra appreciation for them. And this is nationwide. So by doing that, it's putting us in a position to make sure that no matter where your pastor is, they feel love. Your rabbi is, they feel love. No matter where they are, they're feeling this extra love. And so January is the church appreciation. We have our business appreciation every February. This month is our health appreciation. So all our nurses, doctors, dentists, showing love. Next month is our young people appreciation. So this just keeps rotating, but we want to put money behind these appreciations. So we want to surprise them. If they love massages, we get our Black massage therapists, we surprise them with a free massage. We paid for it. We kept the dollars in. We honored the Wednesday agenda. So I just wanted to highlight that because I think that's a big deal, and that's a way of spreading love throughout all of our zip codes. Then we have tours, and the tours is self-explanatory. It's travel. Remember, travel is a big deal with us, and the tours rotate in every city. So I literally, and I can pull this up right here so you guys can see it. Let me show you guys this. Every city we know where we're on tour at for the whole month. Tours last an entire month. So I'm gonna pull up Miami since today we're on duty in Miami, so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. This is Miami's schedule for the entire year. We know for this whole year in Miami, Florida, where we are. So in January, we were on tour in the Overtown neighborhood. So did we get Bay Point, Coconut Grove, Alapath, Wynwood? Did they go into Overtown in the month of January? Did they go? That's the tour. Liberty City in January. Did they go to Overtown? When we get all of our cities doing this, what's going to happen? That travel is going to increase. That travel is going to allow us to meet new people, build our network stronger. Is going to make the people up to no good more uncomfortable, because what they love is isolation. And now instead of isolation, we're going to have this vibrancy with all of this travel and people moving around. That was Miami. Literally, I could show you this for 20 different cities. So since we are recording this, I do want people to see another city. That was Miami. Let's pick one. We'll just take New York City. Here's the other one. So this is New York City for the whole year. So you guys can see that we know exactly where we are on tour for the whole year. As you can see right there, we know where we at in July. We in Central Queens. In June, we in Harlem. And so because we have this schedule set in all 20 cities, anyone traveling with us that we're helping to finance them traveling, we know where they're going because of the tour, All right. And these are the businesses that we will be asking to help finance the tour right here. If you're an accountant, if you're a barber, a dentist, doctor, funeral home, landscaper, if you own a nightclub, a lounge, skincare, massage therapist, or a mover, you guys are the ones that help push the travel on tour. And we want to eventually be at this place right here, you guys. We want to be at this place where we got semi trucks. And when I say we, you, not NBCU, you got a semi truck that we lease from you. You have a RV that we lease from you. Our thing is with your 1,000 people donating $1. With that money, we're taking that money and spending it, contracting with you to help you start your business up. And now we're contracting with you so that ultimately we make it safer in our neighborhoods. Our children are traveling, meeting new people. And so whether you got an RV that we rent from you, a coach bus, a pickup truck, a vehicle, or even a bike, travel is the future. Travel is the future. So I just want to highlight that. Okay, so I went a little bit longer than I thought I was going to go on economics, but I'm just too excited about how CATS, conventions, appreciation, tours, and then the summit is what we're doing here. And technically, all of you guys should be in Chicago, sitting in front of me right here, giving your input on what we got done in your town since the last month. But the summit is always in Chicago. And so with that, we got a reason to travel. The tours and summits give us a reason to travel. We got the appreciation that gives us a reason to show love and surprise people. And then the conventions got a reason for us to transfer knowledge and skills from our retired carpenters to the young people that want to be a carpenter. It's a new way of life. It's a new way of life. So, all right. So the next piece here, we're 6 minutes over, so I'm gonna speed up, is construction. So let me put this last plug in for the businesses. For the Black business owners, we need you to put up $100. 50 Black businesses putting up $100. 50 Black businesses putting up $100. 50 Black businesses putting up $100 yesterday. That's big. We're going to have, and I'll post this so you guys can see this real quick. We're going to have $100,000 as a result of you guys. 50 Black businesses putting up $100. We're going to have this right here. There it is. There it is right there. There it is. This here is, let me zoom in just a little bit. These are 50 Black businesses in Gary, in Chicago, in Atlanta, in Detroit. Each one of those boxes represent a Black business. This is 20 cities with 50 businesses in each one. In red at the bottom, I haven't gotten to the 50 yet. We're working on it. We're doing inventory. Remember, we got to pay people to do inventory. we're doing inventory inside St. Paul, Kansas City, finding the 50 Black businesses. And we go process that information. We go mail out to them and hopefully win them over. That's why this video helps. 50 Black businesses in each city put up $100. With that money, we're going to be able to hire people and get those people traveling to the conventions, get the appreciations going, get the tour going, and the summit in all 20 cities. This is exciting to me when I look at this for the future of Black America. That's how I see that. Hopefully you see it that way too. All right, so now let me move on and get into construction. So team 5 out of our 8 teams is construction. We have, and I'm gonna say this and be a little bit politically correct, but I want you to know the genuineness coming from my heart. We Black people love everyone. We love everyone. Even with what happened to us and our ancestors, we still forgive. And the challenge for that is sometimes we are harder on each other than we are other ethnic groups. I get it. People come here from poor places and they willing to work for less. They motivated, but Black people have been on the other side of that. We used to be humbled at that point, but because of so much frustration, seeing other people get ahead of us, our young people in particular, and some adults as well, don't care to work for less than, don't care to not be treated a certain way with respect. And so it appears that Black people don't want to work. It appears that Black people don't want to coordinate and be together. And I just want to say this on record. I disagree. What I know is that no one wakes up wanting to be a loser. And when I see other ethnic groups in our community doing home repairs, cutting grass, I know that it's Black people who would do that in their community. But I know the psychological damage that's been done. So when we talk about construction, we need to be for the Black people who get it, not everyone, but Black people who get it. If you know there are things in your home that need to be repaired, even if you don't have money to do it, make that list. Just make the list. Doorbell, toilet, painting the room. Just make the list. Make it like a wish list, a dream list. And what's going to end up happening is you're creating, we're acquiring that information. You're creating a possible training list for young people who need to learn those skills, how to paint, how to do plumbing, how to do electrical. And this will allow us to keep those dollars inside of us, just like Chinatown, Greektown, Little Italy. That is so important to create that dream list, dream home repair list. And let's trust putting our own people in there so they can learn how to do that work and stop giving our money to everyone else. We love everyone else, but when our children are dying out here, it's important that we cover home base first. And that's what this boils down to. So that's the construction project, zip code by zip code, block by block. We want to get that dream home repair list down, gutters, you name it. Let's just write it down. It's important, you guys. Whenever a lot is going on, or you might be a little bit depressed about not knowing, document it, write it down. Take a blank piece of paper, draw a perimeter, draw a box, and then put everything inside the box so you can just one by one knock it out someday, somehow. So let's get a list together of our dream home repairs, and let's get ready to get that over to Team 5 in your city so we can get ready to put a plan together on who can pay for it, partially pay for it, find money for you to borrow and pay for it, but keep those dollars in our children's hands and help them learn, block by block, zip code by zip code. All right, so now it's time to move over to education. Brother Al Banks, he's in construction in Chicago. He's January and July. Brother William Taylor, he's our brother in construction. He's June and December. We're working on our people in the middle there of those months. So now we're going to switch gears and talk about education. We're going to take our next break here. We're going to go 4 minutes for this break here, 4 minutes, and we'll be back. All right, everyone, your host, Cy Smith, is back at you here, and we're going to move and switch gears and talk about education. You know, I people who know me well know how I feel about our current education system. I believe that it is designed not to do us justice. The people who put it together didn't consider us even human beings. So my personal thoughts is that we need to know the purpose of education is to acquire skills and to network. Acquire skills and to network. Acquire skills and to network. And we could do that. I think that's a strong suit of us. So I think that's something that we just got to stay focused, that we want to keep acquiring skills, meaning you know how to do something, and keep networking, meet new people. And if we do those two things, we're going to be just fine. Of course, specialized fields require more additional acquiring of skills. But the bottom line is, when we look at our education system, it's really a warehouse, a factory that's producing young people to go into the prison system. And so that's why I say on the education front, it's important that Black people establish our own version. And it's no different than what the Catholic schools do for their children, no different than what the Jewish community does for their children. We just have to do it and have an African-centric national system to educate our children. Now, so I want to make sure that you guys know what National Block Club University does when it comes to education. So every Tuesday is Education Day, every Tuesday. But we also have kindergarten university all the way to 12th grade university. And so what that boils down to is this every grade help the grade under it model. So if you're a first grader, you help the kindergarten. You're an eighth grader, you help the seventh grader. So what this does, this shares responsibility that is not just on that parent to find help and tutoring for their child. Each grade is being asked to take that extra step to support their fellow classmates. And we have on Tuesdays our Zoom. So that Zoom allow parents to put their children on to ask questions. Is like a way of having remote tutoring, and we can take it offline. You get on there, talk about what the issue is, and if it's one that you feel more comfortable having one-on-one with, we take that offline after we do the general. And it's normally 30 minutes because not too many people participate, but it's an option. And I think that's the key when we talk about education. So I'm going to put up here, I want you guys to see the money we give away. It's every month we have different dollar amounts, but it always equals $300 a month that we give away in one city to kindergarten through 12th graders. When we are where we want to be, it will be $400,000 a month just in Chicago given away for our academic scholarship daily grant type awards. So spelling bee competition, you win money. Essays, you win money. Things of that nature, but $400,000, that's $20,000 in all 20 Chicago Black zip codes. So this is going to eventually be beautiful when we get our full funding from us. We're going to be able to do that. In the meantime, it's $300 a month, $3,600 a year. That's what we're able to do. We want to increase it, but it depends on if we support it or not. All right. So anyway, every Tuesday being Education Day, that gives us 52 times to volunteer to help tutor, mentor a young person. And then, of course, the big thing I want to talk about is how we feel that retirees, adults can help the youth. Retirees, adults, and youth can work together to make sure that the young people are acquiring the skills and the network so that they can live a prosperous, successful life and whatever it is God gave them as a natural gift. So let me go through that real quick so you guys know. This here is how we have things lined up to make sure that our young people are being as successful as we know they can be. So all restaurants, wherever you are in America, we have you linked to and responsible for supporting financially third graders. Any way you see fit. You might say, I'm gonna do $50 a year, $20 a year. I might do $10 a year, whatever. But we're asking you to be committed to that third grader. This allows us, if I'm in Detroit, I meet a third grader, I'm looking for a Detroit restaurant to help that third grade. I'm in St. Louis, I meet an eighth grader. We know eighth graders are linked to lawyers. I'm looking for a St. Louis lawyer to help that eighth grader. What this does, this allows the parents to know that they have support, they have backup. And so what this does to the businesses, it prevents them from being burnt out with everyone coming asking them to help for all the grades. They get to say, I only help third grade. If you need fifth grade help, fourth grade help, call this number and they'll tell you who is assigned to help them. So this allows us to be organized with no burnout. And so on the children's side, kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade, what this does, this allows that parent, this allows that school to know if they in fifth grade, we have them linked with nurses. They in sixth grade, we have them linked with painters. So this allows that school to know that these professional people could be in these young people's life to help them with math, reading, science, in addition to that specific skill. So we feel real good that linking career fields to businesses, to the parents, to the students is going to help us help them acquire more skills and build their personal network. All right. Then we also have right now the schools. So each one of those grades, we call it university, even though we don't have a physical building for it to be an actual university. It's more or less a thought process where we're going to, no matter what, have higher academic achievement for every grade. And it's going to be more remote. It's going to be all tied to travel. And what this allows us to do is to make sure that they're not just sitting in a room being warehoused and dealing with behavior issues all day. They're out on the go, meeting new people. You say, where's this happening at? Until Chicago does it the way it's designed to run, it's going to be hard to offer this to New Orleans, to San Diego, to LA. However, what is being offered to all over America right now is if you're a third grader and that restaurant in your town, we know is linked to third graders. So if you're a parent of a third grader who need financial help now, winter coat, winter boots, eighth grade graduation fees, you call 312-405-8844, 312-405-8844 now, because what we're going to do, we're going to take our format and go to work calling those businesses, mailing out to those businesses in your city. We know that they're linked to that grade. So don't hesitate on that. I want to make that real clear. So that's the school piece. We feel this is a more remote school, the way we see it, achieving the same result, which is acquiring skills, building confidence, and networking. And then the awards is $300 a month right now. It rotates what grades are competing to win the money. And of course, one of our leaders, he attached a dollar amount to what he wanted to contribute, and he named that award after his deceased mom. And so that's an option as well. Whereas you can name the $100 award, $50 award, $20 award after your loved one, and the young person will acknowledge that. So that's another way. So last piece is dealing with our teachers. So we dealing with this COVID stuff right now. That's a big deal. And you know, in some unions across the country, they're fighting the administration regarding masks and if they should wear masks. And I want to always make sure that people know, I believe that teachers are king and queen. All of us learn something. And so the teachers have not been treated right. I think society-wise, we don't treat teachers right. We got to do more for the teachers. Every summer, I worry about the teachers. On our end, National Block Club University, we're going to make it better for teachers. Summertime, when they're out of work, they're going to have more free gas opportunities. They're going to have free travel opportunities. They're going to have more opportunities to do Airbnb in Miami and California, because we want to honor those people who are underappreciated, especially when they're out of work for 3 months out the year. So I just wanted to make sure the teachers know we're an advocate. We're on your side. We also got to be able to call you out when you had a, you know, when you're not maximizing this appreciation that we're trying to show. We have some teachers that have gotten burnt out and they just appear to not care anymore. So we got to be able to love you, but also call you out when necessary as well. But I just wanted to put that plug out there that the teachers are so important. All right, so that's our education piece. We also have a section here where we talk about our health, and I can't stress this enough. The food that is in our community, again, is not the best for us. I think it's important that we grow, that we create some, whether it's in the house, seasonal growth, but we should be building the practice of growing food. That's a big deal. Most places only have a week's worth of food supply. And so if we are dependent on food being at the store, that's just playing Russian roulette. If we're growing food, if we have enough food stored up for emergencies, that puts us in a more survival strengthened position. And I think that's important for us to do that. The other thing is we have to get ready to really trade with our Black farmers. Black farmers have been treated like the rest of us, targeted unfairly. Um, they were going to get some degree of repayment with this COVID money, and then you had some white farmers who had a fit. And from what I understand, they didn't get the funding that was coming to them, despite being discriminated against when money came in the past, loans, things of that nature. That's that's what has happened. I don't want to play just victim. The fact is, if Black people, 46 million of us, is committed to naming our 4 Black businesses, then we can name a farmer that we're gonna get our produce from, some of it from. I don't care if you just say, I'm ordering corn this month, I'm ordering carrots this month from a Black farmer. We want to put that list in front of you so that you can at least financially put some money behind a Black farmer. And of course, if we're supporting our own, chances are it's going to be more healthier because they're going to be looking out for our overall relationship that we're establishing with them, that we're going to be buying from them down in the South. So that's on the health end. We got to eat better. Every Thursday is health day. So Thursdays, do those jumping jacks, sit-ups, push-ups. And if we're doing that, periodically or every Thursday, what you're also doing if you're out there publicly is you're encouraging others with the visual of seeing you out there doing that. So I just wanted to put that plug in there about our health and the food that we're partaking in. We got food pantries giving out food all over this nation. Kudos to you guys for people who need that food. But again, do for self, hopefully, is the motto that we latch on to and focus on. So we down to the last 40 minutes here. And so we still got to cover policy and legal. We're going to be talking about the government report cards, laws on the books, voter registration. Then we go open it up. If anyone still gets on, if not, I'm going to have a little bit to talk about. Then we go talk about Gary conventions. Then we go close out with the PQs and Rs next month, kind of what we expecting. And then that's going to be it. All that in 40 minutes. Let's take our break right now. Thank you. All right, all right, all right. Thank you, guys. We are back now, and we're going to get into the second portion of our conversation, which is our policies. And what this section is, it falls in line with Team 8. Team 8 is dealing with legal, and policies are not actually legal constitution wise, but just what are some of the policies that are happening to Black people? What are some of the policies that this administration, the Biden administration, is pushing, and how are those policies affecting us? So we have right now a push on immigration over reparations. Immigration, Senator Durbin here in Illinois is a big advocate of DACA. And so he's pushing DACA. You hear him talking about DACA, you never hear him talking about repairing the wrongs of the past. So from a policy standpoint, that's back burner. We're not as important based on the actions. You know, don't take my word from it. Do you hear them talking about reparations? You don't. So that's a policy decision. And the administration in power right now, you don't hear them saying anything about repairing the wrongs of the past. As a matter of fact, the Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown is being raked over right now in terms of her getting on the Supreme Court. She'll get there, but you could just see why we can't have the conversation about reparations, because they 185 years or 115 years, one or two, never had a Black woman on the Supreme Court, and they having a fit right now. So that tells you a lot. So anyway, policy is Haiti versus Mexico. All right, Haiti, that's a policy. Whereas we saw what happened to the Haitian people coming over here seeking refuge or to become, sorry, what's happening with the camera here? Sorry about that. We saw what happened, the way the Blacks were treated. They had them while the men were on horses, the Border Patrol were on horses and had ropes around, you know, the people that are from Haiti, which is Black, dark-skinned people, compared to the Mexicans that come across the border. So again, it's just a whole nother issue when it comes to how policies affect us compared to others. We can go back in the 80s and 90s with crack versus powder cocaine. I mean, people that got locked up for longer sentences with crack. So things of that nature. But now with incarceration, that's a big one now. And policy wise, you know, back in the day, you got in trouble for driving without a license. Now, in some places, they saying you don't even need a license to buy a car. Again, these are policies, but it starts at the top. What is the administration pushing? And then people tend to follow that. So as Black people in this country, it's, you know, we can't be afraid to raise our hand and say, what about us? You know, now while we're doing that, keep in mind, fight, build, fight, build. So while we're fighting, saying, what about us? We got to be building over here as well. And the building is getting 1,000 people to put up the $1. We got to do that in every zip code all over the place. But I wanted to, while we're talking about policy, I wanted to really drive home this point that we have people in power right now pushing policies that hurt us. One of the big things I'm going to be talking about when we switch over in a minute to the legal side is how you hear the Black and Brown coalition. You hear that. But right now, the voters are going to be deciding, because the Brown side don't want to cede any territory from the 2020 census of Black people holding on to political jurisdictions. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let me go back and finish with the immigration reparations policy piece here. So this is where I see us moving forward when it comes to reparations. If reparations were to come today, I do not think that we would maximize those reparations. I do not believe that, because I see right now that we still love all things not us, unfortunately. You think about our celebrities who buy all foreign, even though Africa got foreign cars, 6 cars are made in Africa, 6 different cars, so they could floss that, but they're flossing cars made in Germany, made in Italy, made just in Europe in general, because of the structural racism we're dealing with from a policy standpoint. The fact that they say we have a food shortage, we have a cargo shipment problem. When I see cargo ships from a policy standpoint, I think about jobs that left and now they're bringing the products back so we can just be consumers. That's a problem policy-wise that we, at least the largest racial group in America, can focus on us and do something different about that. So I don't see it like, oh, we got a crisis with all the boats and all. Nope, shouldn't have been going over there in the first place. Now let's switch that thing around and let's make sure that we covering and doing for self. That's how I see that. All right. So anyway, so reparations, I think it starts with us right now first, pooling together our dollar. It's 46 million of us here, the largest racial group in America. It's so important that we can test ourselves. Can we get 46 million people? Can we get half? 23 million Black people to pool $1 together today. If we do that, we know we 50% there. You know, if we don't get there, what were the barriers why we didn't get there? It's really about, can we trust sending our $1 to one source? And that's going to be the battle of our life to do that. So anyway, I think until we get something close to that, maybe 10 million of us doing it, if not the 46 million, if not the 23 million, but we got to get to a place where we can get some agreement, because that's really what this is. Can we agree on anything, something? So that's how I see that. Then once we do that now, at least if reparations come down, we've shown that we can pool money together collectively despite all of our differences. Okay, so I wanted to really hammer that home when it comes to immigration versus reparations. And I do believe it's the greatest country in the world. Every country has its problems, but we truly are a melting pot in this nation. And with that being said, we unfortunately are on the bottom, so our views are going to not be as favorable. But I've seen other places, and there are more peaceful places. Sure, no doubt, no doubt, there's more peaceful places. But what I wouldn't trade is your temporary peace with the fact that America has the strongest, biggest military in the world, and we can impose our will at will. And so if you're a peaceful nation that don't have no wars, things of that nature, America can impose its will on you, and there's not much you can do about it. So you're peaceful but vulnerable. Not too many people go do nothing to the United States frontally. Now they can sabotage from the inside, but not coming in. They wouldn't be as successful. So anyway, I don't want to get too much into all that. I do think this country is strong and vibrant, and we want to see other people come here and help grow this nation. So immigration is important, but I do think immigrants and people coming here need to pay homage to the undone business that happened with the descendants of those enslaved, and that untaken care of business deals with reparations. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Spent a little bit too much time on that. So now let's switch gears to, there are laws on the books. There are laws on the books. Now we're into Team 8, and we're going to hit voter registration here in a minute. There are laws on the books throughout this nation that is a problem. This is where the fourth Tuesday of the month at Lawyers Day, and the fact that Team 8 is our lawyers, our legal team, all over this country, we should be looking at what laws are out there that we need to be working to get repealed, replace, whatever the case is. So we have a state law where the state is taking the authority away from a primarily Black municipality. State law taking authority away to award. Oh, okay, that's a separate two issues here I'm about to talk about. One is, and this is in Tennessee state, Republican state. Pulaski, Tennessee started the KKK. This state, because of a Fortune 500 company moved there and they're going to bring economic development to this area, the state has come in and taken the power and authority away from the local Blacks so that they can essentially make sure that the broader group benefits financially. Again, this is kind of where I was going with this nation being able to impose our will anywhere because of our strong military. This is the state stronger than this local municipality, all Black, but getting a will imposed upon because of the state. So this is why it's important that we are integrated, talking to each other, being able to come in and support each other, because the more powerful forces can impose their will on you. So here in Tennessee, the Black municipalities having their powers taken away because of the will of the state being imposed on them. There's things we can do to push back on that. Personally, unless we see groundswell of support coming from them, I wouldn't fight that battle right now, because our biggest challenge is getting 1,000 people to put up $1. Until we do that, we'll be over there fighting that battle and won't have money to keep the phones on. So it's important to be focused, pay attention to what Team 8 needs over here, but we also got to keep focused on seeing Black people pull this money together to be able to fight those fights. The other state law I want to talk about, Team 8, is the state law taking away authority to award residency as a requirement for police and firefighters. Let me say that again. In this case, the state of Tennessee, again, only in Memphis, that they want to do away with the residency rule, where Memphis police, Memphis firefighters must live in Memphis. All right, the state is coming in to take away the authority of the local municipal Memphis being able to require that. This is another example. Again, it's Team 8's our legal team, of how vulnerable we are by not pulling together the $1. It just shows right there that they can impose their will whenever they want to all over our neighborhoods, because we haven't exhibited that we can collectively pool resources together and be of some synchronized voice. Okay, so to switch gears, talk about voter registration. I'm a big proponent that no matter who you elect, this country has a two-party system. Granted, you got the independents, you got the Green Party, libertarians, but essentially it's the elephant and the donkey. All right, and so with anything in politics, you guys, is levels. So when people run for political office and they promise you they're going to do X, Y, and Z, unless they're going for a higher office, meaning they're already elected, they don't know what it's like to be an elected official. Every one of those people running for office, unless they're independent, they had to listen to the party leadership, the party chairperson. When you are elected, like in Chicago, once you're elected as an alderman, you're going to get committee assignments, public safety committee, education committee, voter referendum committee, and you're going to be one of many. And before whatever issue you promised your voters you were going to fight for, it may not make it out of committee, because the committee chairperson might not let it come up for a vote. So my point is this: voter registration is important. We should exercise this right that we have in this country to hold accountable the people that take our money, tax dollars, and use it. So I'm all for voter registration. I do think we got to educate our people, let them know voting alone, putting elected officials in power alone is not going to change our conditions. Chinatown has one of the smallest populations of people, and they don't have an elected, they don't have an alderman. However, the mayor just appointed one, but they didn't, and that person isn't sworn in, so they don't have an alderman, but their voice is heard because they have the culture, they have the economics. Chinatown is vibrant. They built the hotel over there. Again, what have we built? And so we got to make sure that we don't get too caught up in fighting the voter piece, which puts us in legal position, but it's the economic and cultural piece that's really, really lacking for us. The other thing I'm going to say about the voter registration, we have the third Wednesday nurses. So I know there's a National Black Nurses Association. We just need to make sure that there's a National Black Nurses Political Association. We need to make sure that the National Black Barbers Political Association. This is going to help us make sure that each of them political action committees can fight for what is needed for that industry to make sure that they are being balanced out with all the other competing interests. So anyway, that's enough on voter registration. We need to push it. Elder Lanyard of Evangelism of Grace is our key person. Governor Brittany Corners of 60652 is the in-house person dealing with voter registration. Every one of our zip codes, we want to and the sister cities. We want to make sure that we're pushing voter registration every second Friday. And then, of course, every fourth Tuesday is the Lawyers' Day. All right, so thank you guys. We're going to take a break here. We're going to come back at 4:40, and I'm going to talk about open session. If you guys have anything, then we go get into Gary, Indiana, close out with next month. Peace. All right, all right, all right. So what I want to do, um, real quick, is I want to go into in the legal part, which I left out, the NAACP, and I get it. Black people have mixed views on the effectiveness of the NAACP, but I want to let you guys know Rose Joshua is our person in Chicago, Southside branch that we work with. And Rose is such a sweetheart who has done a whole lot. She's a military veteran, Army veteran, served the country. and she's the head of the NAACP here in the South Side of Chicago. I told her, because I know the work she's doing, the future work she's looking to be engaged in, that we're going to put together a citywide campaign, nationwide campaign to um, see what we can do to get more financial support going to NAACP. So I get it. People are busy now. They don't want to join, but we're saying at least take out a membership. Whether you attend meetings and all that is not as important as getting the money behind our structures. Similar to politicians, we had to, ideally we get to a place where we're putting money behind these candidates so that way they're listening to us. Same thing with the non-for-profits in our orbit as well. So I put this list together of the NAACPs across our 20 cities. So we got 2001 Martin Luther King Drive, southwest side of Atlanta. That's the NAACP for near the Atlanta area in Georgia. P.O. Box 64843 in Gary, Indiana. That's the Gary, Indiana NAACP. Miami-Dade County, P.O. Box 315, Opelika in Miami, Florida. We got the NAACP in Birmingham, 3rd Avenue North. So I'm working on the other ones, getting the NAACP. I'm going to put this list together, and the purpose of the list is going to be so that we can, if you're willing, $30 is the membership for the Chicago branch. So I'm hoping other cities smaller than the Chicago will be less than 30. But that's a way of supporting people that have been dealing with legal issues for Black people for a long time. All right, so now this is the open session. No one has responded. I checked my YouTube to make sure that you guys can hear it. So it is broadcasting, but no one reached out with any questions. So I'm just going to go into open session for a few minutes here. And what I'm going to be talking about during this open session is what I'm calling permission granted success. Permission granted success. So I'm going to be spending more time really trying to educate, from my perspective, Black people when it comes to what we see as success. And the reason why I think that matters is because we're off track not lined up the right way, and we off schedule. To me, we have a $2 trillion economy, but we have every other ethnic group in our neighborhoods making money and leaving, not caring. So something isn't lined up right. Something don't synchronize here. And so what I'm going to be talking about, this permission granted success and this facade success, is because I think it's, a tough message that we need to get. And it's real simple. The same way they pushing the COVID vaccine, we need everyone to be vaccinated. We need as many Black people as possible to understand that we cannot be independent successful unless we pull together and do for self. Let me say that again. You can be individually successful under their system, but it's a permission granted success. Permission granted, PGS. What is that? That means because we know Europe, we know Asia, we know these other countries are unfairly taking raw materials out of Africa, not paying nowhere near what is valued at. That's why the continent is underrepresented when it comes to the G7 and the G20, because Europe primarily and Asia is just robbing them of their raw materials and not paying proper price. So if you are Black and so-called successful in this country, and you see this happening to your people, and there's nothing you can do about it, are you really successful? Or are you just given permission to be successful? I get it, you work, you went to school, I get all that. But you were one crooked cop away from killing you, taking you out, locking you up, changing your whole life. And at their whim, they can do that. The richest Black people can go into a store in Europe and be followed around. We've seen that happen before. So my point is, we live in a society where we're at the whim of the will of this system imposing their will on us. And the way we're going to push back on that is simple. We had to pull together our financial resources. We had to anchor our communities with our economic dollars rotating, all right? Our own mini economies, insular economies, so that we are not as exposed and dependent on outside. That's important. That's really, really important. And we have the Black farmers who are struggling, shouldn't be struggling, because with EBT and all that, we could be pouring money into them. The gas stations, we should have a national Black gas station chain. We not. So my point is, I don't want to get too much into it. Who we call successful, Bill Cosby is a perfect example. When the system decide that you should no longer be successful, you shouldn't have the attention, fanfare, they will cut you, and you would no longer have the granted access to be successful. The way we're going to fix that is by getting 1,000 people to pull together $1 and making sure that we can name our 4. We get the alignment where we're connected, nurses, 5th graders, 3rd graders, restaurants, so that as much of our money and transactions and interactions are happening internally with us, so that we got less exposure to people who have historically, or their ancestors have historically exploited us. So I just wanted to make that part of the open session, that permission granted success is what we have when we call ourselves successful in this atmosphere and environment where we know they can take you out just like that and your so-called success. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know that's a little tough message, but it's so important because we have a lot of Black people too often who think that they're successful because they moved to the suburbs, they follow behind people who left the inner cities because they didn't want to be around you, and now you moved out there where they are. We got people buying the European cars thinking that means that they made it. We got Black people who are just loving all things dealing with Europe, and then holding our own people too accountable for issues that a lot of times was done because of structural racism and systemic racism. So I wanted to push back on that, challenge that during the open forum. And look like I got that done right in time, because now it's time to switch over and talk about Gary, Indiana, and the conventions. So now what I want to do as we switch gears and talk about these conventions, I want to go back and highlight why the conventions matter so much, why this is such a big deal for our community. So I said before, Gary is a small town, 57 square miles. Miami is 55 square miles, so it's a little bit bigger than Miami. It's sitting right on Lake Michigan, has its own airport. It is space-wise had 160,000 people during its heyday. So it has the roads, the infrastructure. It needs to be repaired, upgraded, but it has that. Got Hard Rock Casino here. The city has the most homes paid for. Where there's no mortgages on them. They flat out own them. Home ownership is bigger than renting here in Gary, Indiana. So to put the weekly conventions in Gary is major, because what it does, it gives a reason for our people to travel here. Too often people say, go to Gary for what? Now that they had a casino, they don't say that as much because they know it's something to do, and we got to build on that. But Gary, 8 out of 10 people here is Black still a Black city. We got Michael Jackson from here. Steel Mills is here. So but as we convince you that these weekly conventions can change the game, and it gives you a reason to buy and invest here in Gary, Indiana. That's ultimately where we're trying to go. Remember, information jobs is the way of the future for us. Travel jobs is the way of the future. And real estate is the way of the future for us. So what I just shared with you, those reasons to come and buy up here in Gary, hopefully you guys would do just that, because other groups are coming. Other groups are coming. They're on their way. We're seeing them. So we're giving you a little heads up before it's a little bit too late. So anyway, I want to go through some of these conventions. I want you guys to see what I'm about to show you. And I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine this. Imagine the nurses getting together every March, first week of every March, all over this country. The nurses in Detroit, St. Louis, Milwaukee, coming here to meet. The nurses in Miami, Birmingham, and New Orleans coming to Gary to meet. The nurses in Kansas City, St. Paul, and Cleveland coming here to meet. And while they're here, they're staying in real estate that they partially own, or they staying in real estate that you own and Airbnb in it, or not just or, but and they're buying the 2022 nurses, national nurses t-shirt, sweater, hoodie, putting that money into the apparel department again. So what I'm saying to you, this nursing convention can have major ramifications for Gary and for nurses all over this country. Outdoor fishing convention. That's a big one. Landlords convention, realtors convention. July, the police convention. This is a big deal. The science convention, missing person summit, you guys. So the list goes on and on. I'm not going to torture you with all of these, but please know that Gary, Indiana is key for all of us. It's affordable. We can put our dollars into real estate here. It's literally less than 30 minutes away from Chicago, global Chicago. So it's a gem sitting here, and that's why the conventions are such a big deal. April conventions are coming up. All of April conventions deal with our young people because Youth Appreciation Month is every April. So May is women convention is here. We got the the landscapers convention in May. So help us make these conventions stronger. And the way we're going to do that is by getting 1,000 people to pull together $1. I can't say that enough. All right. So lastly is next month. What's going to happen next month? So this month is L, M, N, and O, last names. And next month is alphabets P, Q, and R. P, Q, and R. Next month, we're going to be meeting on the 23rd of April. It's always the fourth Saturday of the month. So Saturday, April 23rd, we're going to be coming here on Zoom, but we also are going to try to be in Woodlawn. The weather should be a little bit better. So we're going to try to set up in Woodlawn. If we can pull that off, hopefully our people coming in from Bloomington, Sister Sandra, our people coming in from Gary, Indiana, our people coming in from Milwaukee, that would be good. And we'll be physically inside of Woodlawn. That's where the tour is for the whole month of April, is in the Woodlawn community. And so if we can pull that off, that'll be great. May, we're going to be, last names S, T, and U, and we're going to be in Bronzeville. So now the rest of the summer, we're going to try to have these physical meetings so you guys don't have to sit here and listen to me for 2 hours, but that's what we're going to attempt to do. And again, as PQs and Rs next month. And when you see us talk about last name solution, I really, really want to just stress to you guys, whenever it's your turn, when it's your last name, please honor that. Please honor that. My wife and I, we battle over her not being able to see the effectiveness of it. Whereas because I got to do the physical work, I see the effectiveness every single second, every day, because without it, I couldn't manage this global structure. I needed to have things in compartments so that I can go to it when it's time to go to it, execute on it, and then put it back for the next time around. So that's the benefit of the last name solution. It means every single month, we know who we can count on, and we know we're not burning them out. Those are two key points. You know who your audience is, and you know you're not asking too much from them, because you're only asking them twice a year, every 6 months. So it shouldn't be a burnout issue. And the best part is, if they can't do it this month, do it in 6 months. So it gives them the ultimate flexibility. Our $100 people this month, if you wasn't able to do it, if you can't do it by next Thursday, don't stress on it. Do it in 6 months. Do it in September. We want to make sure that we know this is our way of guaranteeing that we have had consistency throughout the year. And the consistency is in donations, loans, the consistency is in volunteers. By doing it this way, we can predict who we can count on. And if they can't do it, we can immediately relax them and let them know just do it in 6 months. So that way they're not feeling pressure. That is such different from what we have right now, which is a lot of pressure. And that causes some people to just go into their shell and not interact because they don't want to disappoint other people. So that's it, you guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully, if this is your first time watching, it wasn't too long. Hopefully, it was enough breaks in there. It was enough incremental information being shared. And to my people who may think, "Sai, this is the same thing every month." Yes and no. Yes and no. Because the last name solution is leading this. This is LMNO. We were expecting those leaders, and with those leaders coming on and telling us what they've been working on, you would have heard more than my planned speech for all these 8 teams and whatnot. So by not getting Sister Phyllis on, not getting Sister Governor Rachel on, or Governor Francis on, you didn't get a chance to hear what they actually were doing. So even though they didn't report out today, they still were doing something. You also got Sister Shirley Morgan in Mississippi. We got Brother Joe Mosley here in Chicago, Renard Lewis, Joe Merles. I told you guys he was working. We got Devon down in St. Louis. We got Sister Melina in Memphis. So we, Sister Taliba, Carolyn Lawrence, Benani, New Norfleet in Atlanta. So we got some key people who last names is L through O, but again, it has to become where people can hopefully do there every 6 months. Finally, as I close out with a moment of silence here, I want to just make sure that people know that we do care about what's happening in other parts of the world, and we pray for peace. We want people to be in harmony with each other, but we also want to pray for people to be held accountable for their aggression. And so in doing that, you know, we all are going to transition, but the key is what we do during the struggle and how we be there for other people. So despite what we're going through as a people, we still hopefully will be there for other people and not take the revenge route because they did us wrong and do everybody wrong. Because God works through us. Hopefully we can, you know, operate that way. All right, so we'll see you guys next month, Friday, April 22nd, Saturday, April 23rd. We'll be here. We should be in Woodline. We should be also on Zoom. And thank you guys for watching. Please share this video. If you haven't donated your $1 a month, $12 a year, please get that in. 312-405-8844. The website is www.nationalblockclubuniversity.com, www.nationalblockclub